Like on the third, what is it, on the fifth hole or something like that, or the sixth hole, you know?
Okay, I'm bored. That's a running motherfucker, though.
Yeah, it is. Fuck yeah, it is. I love this one. I love my little motor, man. For no more than whatever.
Alright, you got your good old foul-mouth CBers on there. But this radio turned out to be a really quick fix. It's a Deluxe transceiver 790. It's got a vector, but in the back it's made by Kyoto. I know the history of this radio because my mother-in-law moved into a house in 1980 and someone had left this in one of the rooms. I suppose because it was broken back then, but it's a 40 channel. So they came out those in 77, so it's made in between 77 and 80. It's got the classic 70s cigarette burn on it, right there. Turned out it's a pretty nice radio actually. A nice thick chassis or enclosure. You know, nice circuit board, not the cheapo brown ones. Traces on top and bottom. Easy to get the top off, just 4 screws. But anyway, it wouldn't power up at all, so I looked around here at the power supply section for anything obvious. I don't have a schematic or anything, but I couldn't find anything. Well, I just happened to turn it up to get better lighting like this. And this circuit board's up higher, and there's a gap in here, and a little silver thing slid out. I picked it up, and what it turned out to be was the front of this trimmer resistor. It popped off. I don't know why. Maybe it was just a defective part. But I had another one. I could see the value was 50K that I probably got out of an old circuit board. And again, it's easier to get to the bottom of this board. You just take the bottom off, a couple screws. And I didn't know where to set it, so I just picked the midpoint, soldered it in, and it powered up fine. And right here, you hear your power coming out to these circuit boards, so I put a voltmeter there and just trimmed this. I set it at about 12.6 volts, but it'd work over a range. Too low and it'd turn off. Didn't go too high, didn't want to burn something out. But yeah, for setting so many years, it was such a quick fix. I was looking around. These kind of old radios are neat. Here's the PLL section. So you get your oscillator, voltage controlled oscillator, divider. I tried to look up this chip, but I can't find it. But that's obviously the divider. And these old radios are pretty easy to modify. Back when I was kid and in the CBs, you know, I had an old tube job that I got off of I think a yard sale. But it had on the selector switch, it had all the crystals soldered on. But these were easy to modify because you see, just comes off, and there must be a chip on the bottom that drives the LEDs because this will still display the channels with this off. But you only need, well, it's 40 channels, 2 times 2 is 4. So with 6 lines you could get 64 channels, and you only need 40. So what people would do would they'd tap into one of these lines, and you could either toggle that one line or the last 2 lines, and you'd get a whole new range of frequencies to transmit on and receive on. I guess with 8 lines you get 256 channels transmit and receive on. But I know that's what they used to do a lot. And then in later radios they made it harder to get in there and modify that, but I don't know. Tempted to try it, but anyway, if you've got one of these, it's not powering up, it might be a simple fix.